If you are just looking for a great living room space in a big fifth wheel RV, but you don't want to spend, $90, $100, $120,000, this is a really great option to look at that's going to be a lot more affordable than a lot of other fifth wheel RVs out there. And the layout in here, it's pretty dang nice. Let's go take a look. Come on. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Myles with Firmly Unbound, and we are here at this Jayco display here, taking a look at this Jayco Eagle. This is a brand new product for 2026, and this is going to be their 335 LSTS. You can see the floor plan layout here. It is pretty dang sweet what you're working with here, and a really nice layout in design. Also has a 65-inch screen TV inside, so that's going to be really cool to take a look at. Real quick though, before we go inside, I want to let you know, if you're looking for your next RV, there is a link down below in the comments and description where you can find your next RV with Blue Compass RV, as they have over 100 different stores in 33 different states across the United States. And we are here and ready to help you out when you're ready to start looking for your next RV. So there is a link down below in the pinned comment, as well as the description, where you can find a store close to you. As we come around over to this side here, let me look at the exact specs real quick so we can see what we're working with on the size here. It is 38 feet and 4 inches, almost 5 inches. So 38 feet, 5 inches there. And let's see. So the weight with full propane bottles is going to be 11,837 pounds. And then cargo carrying capacity is 1,963 pounds on this. And fully loaded is going to be 13,800 pounds. So those are all of the different specs that we're looking at. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick too while we're down here. Absolutely massive pass-through storage. This is huge for a mid-size fifth wheel RV. Some things to point out that are definitely different about Jayco. First of all, you have this astrofoil insulation underneath the flooring here. That is something I have not seen in any other fifth wheel RVs that I can think of outside of Jayco products. So really nice that you get that extra layer of insulation there across the whole flooring here in this fifth wheel. They also have a 3-stage water filtration and water softening system here. So this is going to be something that pretty much no other fifth wheel RVs have unless you purchase it third party. So that is also another really cool system that is worked in to this fifth wheel RV that just comes standard. There's a couple other things on the outside that we'll talk about as well, but we'll get to those when we come back outside. And in terms of price, this here is going to be right around that $70,000 to $80,000 price point. So it's a much more modest fifth wheel RV than some of your bigger full-size fifth wheel RVs. It is considered a mid-size fifth wheel RV because it does not have the drop frame down underneath the front here. Has a little bit of a slant going down into the front cap, and it's definitely slanted going down towards the back as well. 2 awnings on the outside. You can see white arms on the awning, black awning fabric. A nice clean look with that. LED light strips up underneath the awnings. And then I think that's just about it for what we want to talk about out here. Oh, there's one other thing I was pretty surprised to see too. It does have a strut assisted entry step. So pretty much a weightless step there for you. I guess not pretty much, it is weightless there for you on that entry step. That is also very nice. A lot of mid-size fifth wheel RVs like this in this price range are not going to have that. So that is another cool little neat thing that's on here. A couple people in there having a conversation. So I'm going to come out and talk about one other thing out here real quick. We have this J port right here. This is going to be used for an outside griddle. So there's basically a sliding port that goes into here that this will hold, and it will allow you to have this outdoor griddle cooktop. It'll be a Halo griddle cooktop. Now, the only thing I'm still not certain of is if it's going to come with the griddle cooktop or if that's going to be like an additional option. Even if it is the additional option, I think a lot of dealerships will order it with that. But that's going to give you a really nice 2 independent zone Halo griddle cooktop. The thing is so nice. I bought it for my travel trailer as well. I just have to set it on a table outside of my camper because I don't have anything like that on my camper. And you have the outdoor water source as well. Power stabilizers on the outside. That's it. And then we're going to go inside, and I guess you're going to have to wait and see the living room because there's people in here having a conversation. So we're going to go to the right first, and we'll go up this way. So as we step up in here, let's go to the bedroom. And here in the bedroom, it's going to be east to west king size bed in here. Really nice looking bedroom layout. And as we step in here, pretty modest looking in the bed area. This is a deep slide out though, so it definitely adds a lot of floor space. You have a little bit of a lip here, so you definitely could rest a phone in that area. right there. You have spots there for USB ports in the corners and some light switches. The only thing I'm thinking about with that shelf right there, I guarantee you this is going to be the case. As I sit up here, got to do the scoop back. Oh, you know what? Wow, that's actually not bad. Oh, look at that, y'all. They did it. They made it so that this bar right here, this little shelf, I don't hit my head on it. I thought for sure that I would. That is actually really nice that it is at a height where when I'm comfortably sitting here how I naturally would, my shoulders hit the back padding and then my head is up above the shelf. So I think that will be the case for most people. If you're shorter, let's say if you're under like 5'7" maybe, you might be finding the need to like sit up a little bit more straight. But I think most people between like 5'8", 5'9", up to like, probably 6'4" will comfortably be able to sit up straight in this bed. And then you can see as we turn around, you're gonna have a spot for a TV on the wall there. It's not gonna be able to fit the largest TV ever. You could also rest it on the nightstand there. And then you have this look of what your bedroom is gonna look like when you are sitting in the bed. Because it's a deep slide though, you definitely feel like you're in a little bit of a cave here, which is, I kind of like that. It kind of feels nice. As I get out of the bed, it's a pretty comfortable mattress too. Definitely not terrible by any means. Not too bad at all. You can see what that looks like there and how thick the mattress is. In here, we're going to have prep to add a washer and dryer unit. So if you want the washer and dryer, that can go into this space right here. If not, you just have a bunch of additional storage and hooks there. And then we have a really well thought out bedroom closet. You can see all the shelving that you get in this closet. You have the clothing rod across the top. You have your mirrors here. And then as we open this one up, see the rest of that closet space. Lots of shelving in there. Still have your clothing rod across the top. And then we have 4 drawers in this space, plywood drawer construction with staples to hold the drawers in place. And you have a hamper area as well. So really nice big hamper space. Plus your bottom drawers are a little bit bigger, so you have even more space in those. Outlet down here, you have a little bit of carpet in this area, as you can see there. And then if you get the Overlander package with an inverter, you can get power to those outlets. Last couple things in this area, you got some drawers here. So 3 drawers that open up. Bottom drawer is going to be the biggest of the 3. So you can see the top 2 are the same size. And then the bottom one is a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper on that. Whisper quiet AC system. So you have your AC returns right here. AC is up in the attic, so you don't really see it. And then one thing I actually really like about this too is you have the ability to fully close your AC vents. There's a lot of brands out there in RVs that have AC vents that are not closable, so you don't get the option to cut off air to any areas if you want to and still want to keep the AC on. Really like that you can do that in this one. As we go this way towards the bathroom, got a little peek of the living room. Let's go through this real quick. Porcelain foot flush toilet. You got a pocket door here, so it comes out of the area between the 2 walls there. Notice this on a lot of RVs. You can see the hooks for the towels. If you pee standing up as a man, that towel is kind of in the splash zone. There's a lot of RVs that are like that, and I didn't even really realize that or pick up on that till I owned an RV myself and realized my RV is the exact same. And so that is something I have learned. So you definitely have to, either pee sitting down or you gotta fold those towels over so they are not in the splash zone. Got a vent fan in here as well, AC ducted into the space. Absolutely massive skylight in the shower area. We'll get to that in just a second. Wood grain countertop, plastic bowl sink here in the bathroom. Then you have a liquefied here. This is a black tank treatment for your RV that you can find at Blue Compass stores across the country, as well as Amazon and Walmart. And they have it in the pod formula like this, or the liquid or powder formula. And that's gonna make sure everything that goes into your toilet breaks down properly, drains out properly, and keeps your RV black tank smelling fresh and healthy. So definitely get that for your RV if you haven't already. Have your medicine cabinet. Then we have the shower here. Pretty dang good sized shower. The base of the shower sits right at about floor level, so not much of a step to get up into the shower. And when I get behind the camera here, I do have to duck to get into the shower. But other than that, the ceiling height in here, that's pretty dang good. I'm standing at about 6'2", 6'3" with my boots on, and that's probably good for about 6'7", 6'8" at least. So really nice with that. Shower head does sit a little low for me, so I would have to duck to get under the shower head, but the length on the shower, the base of the shower, I mean, everything about it, it's quite a bit of room here to work with. So really like that. Last thing to touch on is the storage space in here, and there's a little cool thing underneath here to talk about that I'm really pleased to see, and that is the fact that we have individual shutoff valves on all of the water lines. So really, really like seeing that. Glad that they have the individual shutoff valves there. That means if you have any sort of water leak on those water lines, you can turn off the water to just those individual lines, and you don't have to turn off the water to the entire camper. Not a lot of fifth wheel RVs have that. No heat vents in the floor anywhere up here. And then let's go hop down into the living room area. Again, had to wait for some people to clear out, but we have a touchscreen control panel right here. This will link to your phone as well, so you can control this fifth wheel RV from your phone. You have hooks right here, right when you walk in, so nice space for that. And then look at this living room arrangement in here and this kitchen arrangement. Very curious your thoughts. This is definitely an interesting floor plan and is really, really focused on maximizing the seating space that you get. So you get this dining table right here. It does extend out, so you are able to pull this out, and you can see it has like this rolling mechanism, so that additional parts of the table just rolls right back in there. So that's very nice. You have the extending table there, big windows all the way around, and pull down blackout shades on all of the windows. See how that works there, and you have these little knobs there to easily find where those curtains are. Got some storage space down underneath here as well. Storage underneath the seats in this space also. And then no carpet in the flooring at all. Come along this way and you're going to have a cloth furniture. This is something I really, really like about Jayco. So it looks like it would be a leather actually. You can't really tell right away until you see like the details of like, you know, the different prints and the fabric color essentially with people, you know, sitting on it and touching it and whatnot. But it's such a fine cloth material that it just feels really nice. And unlike leather, you're not gonna have that temperature change with cloth quite as much. Your skin doesn't stick to it quite as much. So I'm a big fan of it, but I'm curious what you think. And then obviously you can see we have this huge L-shaped sofa right there. Now there are some other fifth wheel RVs from Jayco with their North Point and Pinnacle lines that have even bigger L-shaped sofas, that this one isn't quite big enough for you, because this has two cushions right here and then kind of an oversized cushion going into that L shape there, whereas some of them will have three cushions here and then it'll go into the L shape. But still really big nonetheless. If I, you know, sit down right here, you have a 65-inch screen TV. It's almost long enough for me to take a nap on right here, but it's a little bit, it's probably like right at about 6 feet long or so to the armrest, and then, you know, back to the backrest where your head would go. Looks like these cushions, yeah, they won't come out. They're kind of set in place. Recliner here, this looks like this should be a recliner as well. Yeah, pull straps on these recliners there. So they will recline and then lay back. And then this area here, you have the table. This should make into a bed. Yep, you can see right there, you have the trifold sofa there. So it'll make into basically like a twin size bed just about when you pull this out. There will be a gap here between where the bed is and this area right here. There will be a gap right there. So it won't make this into like one huge large bed there. But nonetheless, you get just a big seating hangout area. You have a massive fireplace, so a big electric heat source for you there, and just kind of gives you that aesthetic. And again, a 65-inch screen TV, which is just awesome. Not a whole lot of fifth wheel RVs out there with that. And you have a ceiling fan. A ceiling fan in a mid-size fifth wheel RV is almost unheard of. So that is also another nice touch to keep air circulating through here. You have an MB Court audio system. You can see the speakers in the ceiling right there. Then you have all this storage space around the TV. TV also is on a swivel mount, so you can swivel it around. You can see kind of what your storage space looks like here. USB ports and outlets on this side, as well as your audio controls for your Bluetooth. And then you have some storage space down here. Those are a little bit deeper than I was expecting, which is nice. Heat vents running out of the cabinetry, and then same storage there on the other side. You have two more recliners right here with the pull straps on those for the recline function. And then you have USB ports right next to these recliners, and you have some storage in this middle armrest. So really great family friendly or hangout friendly floor plan here. Definitely a more popular floor plan that we're seeing more and more brands take on. I believe it was, I think it was Keystone Cougar who first made this floor plan arrangement, and now we're seeing some different brands and their take on it. And I definitely really like this interior color palette that's in here that they're going with for 2026 on the Jayco Eagle. And again, gonna come in at a real competitive price point as well. Nice LED lighting up underneath here, solid surface countertops. Comes with a really nice looking stainless steel sink here, and it will have multiple different accessories in here, like different trays and bins and cutting boards. You have the retractable faucet, cup rinser, and a soap dispenser. Now let's look at some of the storage down through here in the kitchen space. So you got 3 drawers there. These are standard plywood drawers with staples. Got a little bit of storage down underneath here as well. Now, when the slide out is closed, this all is going to cover up that space. So that will all be covered when the slide's closed. Same with this. This is all going to kind of slide into this area. Solid surface countertops all through here. Look at the countertop space around your stove. Plenty of room to work with here. This is definitely like a single person kitchen though. You're just going to have one person standing in this space at any time. Residential size microwave. Storage around the sides of the microwave. No shelving in here, it looks like. Yep, just open storage. And then as we step back, 3 burner stove, outlets up underneath the cabinetry there. And then you got 3 drawers here that are all the same. Nope, bottom ones are a little bit bigger. And then you have a drawer there underneath your stove. Last thing under the sink, got a spot for a trash can, another table under there, and some shelf storage. So that's everything in this area in the kitchen. As I turn around this way, we have our refrigerator right here. Now this is pretty interesting because the first thing I noticed with this right away is it looks like, I did hear them talking about how I think it's gonna move out this direction just a little bit. So it's a little bit further off the wall. What I'm curious about is if you're in transit mode, like you can see the slide out's gonna come closed here, and it looks like you will be able to open this door and like get your arm into the refrigerator with the slide closed. I don't feel like that's gonna be an issue. I don't think I'm gonna have the option to close the slide on this model here at this event. But that would be like my one question, is the slide out being closed if you can get into this refrigerator. I feel like you would be able to open, you'd be able to, you know, get into this area and pull this door open at least to like right there and reach your hand in there. So that's my assumption, but it's hard to say. But you can see why they'd want to move this out a little bit, because it is going to hit that arm right there, and it'd be nice to get that to open up just a little bit more. It's an Ever-Chill refrigerator. Then you have 2 freezer portions in the bottom. So you have a tray there and another tray here. Got some storage up above here, some really big storage. 3 air conditioners in this travel trailer. So we have a drop down AC here that is just gonna pump air out of that air conditioner to help keep it cooler in here. And you have another speaker up over this area. So if you have the TV on and you have the speaker system going, you actually can get some sound in this kitchen space too, and kind of have the sound fill the entire living area in this fifth wheel. Adjustable shelving here in the pantry. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure there's lights in there. So lights came on there, got your lights, and then you have basically what they're calling a liquid chalkboard here. So you could write on this with like a white marker. I'm not sure what type of marker exactly, but it allows that to be like a, you know, kind of like a dry erase board essentially, but black, which is kind of cool too. So that is everything on the inside of this fifth wheel RV. Very curious your thoughts on what you think. Let me know down below in the comments. And as we step back outside, we'll talk about the last couple things on the outside here. Outdoor speakers down here and here at ear level when you're sitting in your camper. You have a fully enclosed underbelly, so all your water tanks and water lines sit above the enclosed underbelly. There should be 12-volt heat pads on this as well, so you should have an electric heat source to keep those water tanks warm in addition to the furnace. Let me just come in here and double check. Sometimes I say something that I believe to be true and then it's not, which is always really annoying, and I hate when I do that. That is never something I'm trying to do. Tanks. You know, I'm not seeing a control here for the 12-volt heat pads. Let's see. Kind of get a look at what's on this control panel. Tire pressure monitoring system, that's nice. Lights. Temperature, that's all AC temperatures. I'm not seeing 12-volt heat pads. So, maybe they are on here. If I'm incorrect about that, let me know. I thought for sure this would have 12-volt heat pads on it, but I'm not seeing that. And with an enclosed underbelly, there's no way for me to tell unless I can just see like where the power source is for the 12-volt heat pads. So I would expect it to have it on there. If it does not, or it looks like it does not though. So if it does, somebody let me know down below in the comments if you know for sure and I'm, not seeing something here, but that was something I would expect to see. Nonetheless, not a big deal though. That's really just for if you're traveling in the RV when your propane is not on. And so like when you're going down the road to make sure that your water tanks don't freeze. That's like when they're most used. 2-year limited warranty from Jayco, that's a big deal. Most other campers just come with a 1-year limited warranty. And when I say most, I mean literally like all other fifth wheel RVs. We have an H-rated tire here from Rainier, and then we have the Moride CRE 3000 suspension system down underneath there. I am surprised to see it doesn't have the additional steel beam there for added support on that running gear. So a little surprised not to see that. You do have a rack and pinion through frame slide out mechanism here. As we come back this way, have your ladder to get up onto the roof, brake and reverse lights, prep to add a backup camera. There is solar on the roof as well. You have a cable driven slide mechanism here for this big slide where the sofa is at, and this extends into that kitchen space. And as we come down this way, we have our valves up under the underbelly. This is a secondary, just kind of safety valve, but you'll see the first valves are through here. So your valves are up in the underbelly, which is gonna make this more of a true Four Seasons camper. And then again, that's pretty much it. You have the light down underneath here, spot to store your sewer hose right there. A little bit thinner baggage door, slam latch on these baggage doors, and then they have the strut to hold this open since it is under the slide out box. So you do have to crouch to get down underneath here. You're gonna have to duck down to get into the space. Water connections there. It's a Nautilus water management system. You can see your black and gray tank and dump valves here, and you do have a spot to run water lines out of that little hole. And then I think we talked about it already, but just in case, you have the Astrofoil insulation up underneath here and the 3-stage water filtration and softening system that are both unique to Jayco products. And then you have your spot for propane bottles, storage up front, spot for batteries, and a pretty standard Lippert Rhino pin box here. So that is everything on this Jayco Eagle product. Very curious your thoughts. Again, this is gonna be right in that like $70,000 to $80,000 price range. So curious what you think, and if you're looking for your next RV, there is a link down below in the comments and description to find it at over 100 different Blue Compass RV locations across the United States. We're here and ready to help you out when you're ready to start looking, and that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, live firmly unbound.